The honor to introduce my wife. So I'm a little bit nervous. I've never talked about my wife in front of a room of 240 people. But before we begin, if you've ever been taught or coached by Mrs. Long, can you raise your hand? Pretty awesome. If you guys were new to Collegiate, if you didn't know, she was the 8th grade English teacher. And so last year, when we were fortunate to have our first son named Caleb, and Mrs. Long has decided to stay home to raise Caleb. She also coached tennis for a number of years. But she's now happy at home with our young little son. But I thought I'd share a little bit about her before she gives her Amazon address. First thing I want to clear up is that when I moved to Louisville 5 years ago, I came here for the job as a dean of students. I did not know that I was going to find my future wife. But there's been a little bit of there's been some question as to how we met. And let me get the story straight for you. We did meet at Urban Active, which is a gym over off Shelbyville Road called LA Fitness now. But it did not go like this. I was not repping out 225. Give me a spot, you know? It wasn't like the bathroom was that way. The way we actually got to know each other was we both went to the gym, saw each other a couple times. I honestly didn't know her because I was in the middle of the boys' soccer season. But we started to talk about how Urban Active resembled Logo Gym from the movie Dodgeball. That is the gym that we belong to, a bunch of meatheads. And after that, we had our first date, which was a U of L basketball game at Freedom Hall. And I'll be honest, it was a little bit blurry. Because when we put into the parking lot in the dirt, because we couldn't park in the normal lot because there was a gun show going on at the same time as the game. I saw a guy walk out on 350 pounds, a little bit of plumber's butt, 2 shotguns. And I thought, oh my Lord, what have I got myself into? But we had an awesome time at the game, and we've been dating ever since. So I want to share 4 things that I appreciate about my wife. One is her ability to play tennis. When I first learned that she played tennis in college at Kenyon, I thought, I'm a guy, she's a girl. I'm going to play her, I'm going to show her how to play tennis. Let's say it didn't go very well. I lost 6-0, and then we just stopped playing. So I've come to appreciate the fact that my wife is a very, very good tennis player. The other thing I appreciate about my wife is that she's an English teacher. I'm telling you right now, it is awesome to be married to an English teacher. Because we have to write an email, write a letter, it's like, can you look over this and proofread this? Fantastic job. Or if I need help with a summer reading book, she's always happy to provide a reading. So it's kind of nice to have an English teacher for a wife. The other thing that I really love about my wife is that she has a wonderful love of sports. It's pretty cool that I have a wife who's on Parts Connect as much as I am on the ESPN app, that she can actually give me stats from the Steelers that I don't need to know. And a great date night for us is, hey, do you want to watch college football? And she's like, yeah. We get to hang out watching college football, which is pretty awesome. But the thing I appreciate most about my wife is that she's my best friend. Whether we're having dinner together, taking Caleb for a walk, or attending a U of L basketball game, there is no one else I would rather be with. So, good luck. I love you.
Hello. It is such a treat to be here today. Awesome. As Mr. Long said, for those who don't know me, I am Claire Long. There's an angry few who refuse to call me Miss Long, like Georgia Heaton and Amanda Lifson. So you guys can call me Miss Larson. I still answer to that as well. It's such a treat because I don't get to see you guys on a daily basis anymore. So thank you so much for having me here and for giving me your attention. When Mr. Long and Ms. Gahan first talked to me about giving this speech, the first thing I thought of was 8th grade me projects. I absolutely love me projects, whether you guys do or not. I absolutely love them. I think it's brilliant that 8th graders are required to prepare a speech in which they discuss their own growth throughout middle school, because without that self-reflection, the middle school experience can really be overlooked and lost. Me projects force you to step back and think about your path, both how you got to where you are and where you're headed before you take the big leap into high school. Some of you waited until the last minute to write your speech, or some of you, like Olivia Anderley, started writing your speech 2 years in advance, but no matter how long you spent writing your speech, you always had to pause and consider what makes you, you. The speeches were always the highlight of my day because I got to see my students in such a different light. I got to see Kelsey Cox sing hear Alicia Furlong play the violin, watch Dustin Weber make horses do really crazy tricks, and taste Katie Hillebrand's enchanting biscotti. I always felt like a better teacher after me projects because I was reminded that you each had a unique and convoluted story. I learned so much about your passions, your losses, your motivators, which made me reevaluate who I was as a teacher and even think about my own path in life. My two favorite portions were always the inner self and the dedications. I like the inner self portion because you were required to dig deep and think about what drives you. When stuck on how to write that section, I always said, what makes you tick? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Many felt pressured to talk about religion or death, not realizing that you don't need something holy or tragic in order to have an inner self. In fact, I distinctly remember Charlotte Freitag, who graduated last year, so Lily, you'll have to tell her I picked on her. After listening to a classmate deliver a pretty poignant speech about the loss of a family member, she turned to a friend with utter disappointment and was like, man, that was really good. Why does my family have to be so happy? Even more than the inner self, I adore the dedications. To hear an 8th grade student vocalize their feelings of gratitude is rare and extremely tender. Often, dedications would end with tears. Sure, nerves played into it, but also it was really emotional for students to express how much their parents, teachers, coaches, and friends mean to them. It's completely overwhelming. Of course, it was always incredibly special when I received a dedication. To hear the impact on a student meant more, that I had on a student meant more to me than I could ever express. But I enjoyed hearing other dedications just as much. I loved hearing how much Miss Ruth helped you love Spanish with her chiquito, and how much Mr. Augustus's unhealthy obsession with math pushed you to complete problems you didn't think you could solve. And yes, of course, we all know that Mr. Haas changed our lives for the better. Dedications to siblings always tugged on my heartstrings, as did sweet tributes to cool aunts or crazy grandparents. At team meetings, we often discussed the idea of having teachers deliver me projects, but sadly, we always ran out of time. That's one reason I was so excited about this forum. I believe it's extremely important for you to hear your teachers' stories and to hear what makes them tick and get out of bed in the morning. It helps you think of your teachers as real people, not pod people who sleep in their classrooms. So here's my abbreviated me project with an abbreviated visual, focusing on the inner self and dedications. I believe that what makes me tick is gratitude. I believe that dedications, or in other words, thanking and being thanked, make me slow down and appreciate the amazing details in my day that would otherwise have lost. Whether it's the delicious latte that someone brought me by surprise, the fact that I got to spend time with my family, or the mere accomplishment of getting dressed and not having Caleb immediately spit up on me, being thankful makes me aware and present. I enjoy writing thank you notes, which is admittedly in part due to my unhealthy obsession with stationery and my immature love for sending and receiving real mail. But I also like writing notes because it makes me stop, reflect, and think about my gratitude. And it also lets that person know that they made my day a little bit brighter. The best way to explain me and my gratitude is by taking a lesson from Nick White's favorite short story, Ray Bradbury's A Sound of Thunder. Remember the one where Eccles goes back in time and shoots the dinosaur and steps on the butterfly? The whole butterfly effect, it's just fascinating to me. I wouldn't change a single step on my path for fear that I wouldn't be as foolishly happy as I am today. If you had told me 6 years ago that I would be married, a stay-at-home mom with a 6-month-old, I would have laughed at you. Not that this isn't what I wanted, I just couldn't imagine my story leading me here. I am amazed and so incredibly thankful for all of my steps, tangents, accomplishments, and of course my mistakes have led me to where I am today. I have no regrets, but there are a few delayed thank you notes I feel I should write. My first delayed thank you note would be to Mrs. Solomon, may she rest in peace. When I was in 2nd grade at the model school, at a parent-teacher conference, Mrs. Solomon looked me in the eye with my mother present and said, "Claire is not good at math, and Claire will never be good at math." You would think I would have been crushed by such a statement. Luckily, I was a bit oblivious, but my reaction was worse. Rather than being upset or hurt, I internalized Miss Solomon's comments. I believed her. She was a teacher. She knew what she was talking about. So I fulfilled her prediction, not trying very hard in math, because what was the point? I wouldn't be good at it anyway. Mama Larson, on the other hand, was full of rage, asked me to leave the room, and had some sort of conversation she still won't talk about. All the way through high school, I did well in math, but never great, because I never thought I could. So why in the world am I thankful for this experience? Because I would never, ever tell a student that he or she would never be good at something. Even when Rachel Hertzman tries to do a cartwheel, no matter how hideous it looks, I will always encourage her to keep trying. I can't help but think that my second grade experience made me want to teach kids and help them to believe in their own abilities, no matter how big or strong they may be. So for that, I'm thankful. My next delayed thank you note would be to all of my middle school teachers and classmates. I was an extremely blissful middle school kid. Not until I taught middle school did I know how insecure and potentially malicious middle schoolers could be to one another. As you see in this picture, I'm the one on the left, this is Claire Marie Larson. I just didn't let anything get me down. In this picture, my mom chose the font for my shirt, but I chose to tuck it into my gym shorts there. I cannot pin down a single person or event to explain why I didn't fall victim to all of the middle school drama, but I am certain it has to do with my incredible parents who supported my booming arts and crafts business, my friends who were willing to produce backyard stage productions of Dancing to the Oldies, and my teachers and coaches who never told me never. I am sure that my happiness in middle school made me want to work with knuckleheads like you guys. Now, as I said, it was a rude awakening to see that most middle schoolers, especially 7th graders, have in fact a little bit of evil inside of them. But I loved every minute of my job, and I know I will love it again when I return to the classroom. As crazy as it sounds to some, I am so thankful to have spent 10 years in 8th grade. I would also send a delayed thank you note to Wake Forest. I know it's a popular choice for collegiate students these days, and it was my top choice back in 1999. I honestly cannot remember for the life of me why it was my top choice, but I applied early and was deferred and was later waitlisted. I was bitter that they didn't want me right away, so I chose to attend my second choice, Kenyon College. Thank goodness I did. Kenyon had a stronger English program. I got to play college. There you go. And being a Kenyon lady, which was our mascot, helped me get both of my teaching jobs. At the Miami Valley School in Dayton, they needed an English teacher who could coach tennis, so that helped me get hired at the ripe age of 21. And when it was time to leave MVS, Miss Murphy, a fellow Kenyon grad, convinced me to interview at Collegiate. I was extremely hesitant to return to Louisville, but I fell in love with the school and took the job. And as you all know, I later fell in love with the Dean of Students, so thanks Wake Forest for rejecting me. I now try to be more aware of my blessings so that my gratitude is not quite so delayed. I can't speak about gratitude without mentioning our recent gift, Caleb. In case you were wondering, yes, he is the cutest little boy in the entire world ever. Although Owen Rich does give him a run for his money, it's his birthday today, so make sure you tell Mr. Rich to tell Owen happy birthday. I know I have only scratched the surface of the love I'm going to feel for Caleb, but I am so thankful for his smiles, his coos, and for the fact that I get to hear my husband sing to him. It is the sweetest and most hilarious experience because he doesn't know any of the words to the kids' songs, so he just makes them up and you just never know what you're going to get. Absolutely melts my heart. I could go on and on and on about how lucky I am to have these two boys in my life, but we only have so much time. Although this will evoke an eye roll from Mr. Long, my gratitude reminds me of an episode of Friends. For those who watch diligently, Molly and Ellery, remember the one where Phoebe dates enthusiastic Parker, Alec Baldwin's overzealous character who is thankful for the fantastically well-lit hallway, the most comfortable couch he has sat on in his life, and the brake lights that were aglow with the light of a million fairies. I'm not saying we have to be quite that over the top with our gratitude, because that would get super annoying. But there is something special about pausing and considering a reason to be happy. I do not believe everything happens for a reason, but I do believe we can find reason in just about everything if we are allowed time to step back, pause, and think about where our gratitude is due. It won't happen every day, and sometimes it takes great effort. But being thankful, even if it's delayed, is vital. I'm not sure where my path will lead me next, but I know I will pause and enjoy the ride when I can. I appreciate you letting me be a part of your path, but much more importantly, I thank you for being a part of mine.